Okay, so this module should go really quick and easy because we've done this in class and we've done this with the breadboard and we've done this with the Uno. So we're just going to fly through it. This is all about digital write using this board instead of your Uno. Okay, and we're going to use the couple of different devices. We're going to use this tricolor LED. All of you, I think, already have it out, and there's a good chance if you're in class you've already played with it. And we're also going to play with one of these piezo's. But we'll get to that in just a second. So real quick, let's just do this. So here's my LED, and I'm going to plug it in to pins 23, 22, and 21, which are labeled, in this case, A9, A8, and A7. Remember, this corner one right here, as I explained, this outer corner is ground. And if I look at this LED, this is labeled either a negative or a ground, okay, which makes it super easy. And I'm going to plug it in just like this. Okay, so there it is. It is plugged in to the 4 last female sockets that you can possibly plug it into. Alright, now let's go ahead and whip up a little bit of code to make this guy go. And I'm hoping you can actually just jump ahead of me. This should be pretty straightforward now. So the first thing we're going to do is we need to figure out which one is which. So I think I'll just generically do a pin mode. And let's do pin 23, because I'm honestly not sure if it's red, green, or blue for sure. And I'm going to output it like so. And then I think I'll go down here and I'll do a demo. Alright, like so. And I'm going to go ahead and do a digital write, because that's what this chapter is all about, lowercase Brian. And we're going to digital write pin 23, and we're going to set it high, like so. And then we're going to do a delay, and we'll make that delay about 1000 milliseconds. And then we're going to set it low. So if I call this function, what should happen is the pin mode is going to set the output. We're going to get this thing to call the demo, and demo is going to run, and it's just going to run through the loop. So this should be fast and easy. Let's see how it goes. And while this is loading, I'm going to make my code look a little bit nicer. And lo and behold, how about that? They are all a little different. The quality control on these things is not so great. I think in class, my pin 23 was a red. In this particular case, pin 23 is a blue. And I know some of you guys had blue pop up for your pin 23. So that makes it kind of nice. I'm going to now make it clear for me in the future on this particular LED. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a variable, a global. And I'll make it an integer variable, and I'm going to call it BLED, and I'm going to set it equal to 23, and this will be my blue LED. And now what I'll do is I'll replace that 23 everywhere with my BLED, and we'll test it again, make sure it's good. I'm sure it is. You should always verify and test. Do it often, often, often. Okay? So let's change one number here. This is on for 1000 milliseconds and off for 1000 milliseconds. So let's make it something else. Let's make it like 750 and 500. Okay, it's not going to be that much different, but we're going to look at it, and then I'm going to make sure it's perfectly clear as to what's actually happening when I call a digital write high and low. Alright, so what actually happened here? What happened was we have a signal that suddenly goes high. It's held high for 750. It goes down. It's low for less than 750, so I'm going to make that line a little bit shorter. It's going to go high. It's going to go high for 750. It's going to go low, and then it's going to be a little shorter, and it's going to go high, and then it's going to go 750. Now, I'm not a very good artist here, so these two aren't the same. But what you need to know is that when you see something like this, which you will in your homework, what you're actually looking at is, to interpret it, all right, this is high, and then down here, this is low, okay? Now, in the case of this particular code, we have 750 and 500, right? So that actually means that this is going to be, well, we should actually explain. This is time, right? And then so that makes this 750, and that makes this 500, and that makes this, I don't want to keep going here, but that makes that 750. That makes this 500. Okay, on and on. And it just goes on. Okay? So when you see something like this, this is the high signal, this is the low signal, time is moving in this direction, and then what we see is the high interval was 750. I should have put in there some designations, shouldn't I? Okay, 750 milliseconds, 750 milliseconds, on and on like this. And then we would have gotten a repetitive action, and we would have our light flashing just like that. Okay? So let's add a little bit more to it. I think you got the basic picture. It goes quick and easy. I'm going to add another one. I'm almost positive that what'll be green is going to be pin 22, because they almost never screw up the middle. Usually it's just the either end, the 21 and 23. Okay, and then I will go ahead and do this, and we're going to confirm it real quick. And I'll make sure this is my red, and I'm going to make this a 21, and this is my red LED. And then we're going to set our port direction. I'll make it a pin, actually, pin direction. Alright, so let's set them all to output. And then let's do something real, kind of just copy and paste this, and we'll just go through the lights real quick. So here's blue, here's green, and here's red. And actually I want to make sure my red is really the one it is. So I'm actually going to make it really long. So that way when this thing uploads, we'll be able to see if the red light stays on for the longest time. Then I'll know that in fact I do have my red hooked up properly on the green. And in fact you can see the red's on, and it was on for a long time. So therefore I do know that my red is hooked up to pin 21, my green is hooked up to pin 22, and my blue is hooked up to pin 23. Alright, so let's do another quick little demo. I'll do a, let me pause it and I'll build it, and then I'll just explain it instead of actually watching me type. I'll post this so you can get it. Okay, so I've written a demo too, and I dimmed the lights in here a little bit, and actually I think I've decided that if I cover it with a tissue, it kind of diffuses it nicely. But you can see in this particular case it's quickly going through the colors red, green, and blue, and I think it shows up reasonably well on the camera. But what's going to happen is it's going to start going faster and faster and faster until it becomes indiscernible between the three different colors. And when it does that, it'll actually kind of appear white, although it's just because the colors are switching so quickly that it just appears white, but in fact it is still the three primary colors. And the way I did it was a for loop, and you can see it here. In fact, now you can see it's starting to speed up. Eventually it's going to relatively quickly here become just white. should get faster and faster and faster and faster. And for a brief time, it'll appear just white. And then, of course, it starts to slow down again. So what I've done here is I've eliminated the off time. So there's, the only time it's off is when it's low, and the low is not followed by a delay. So it's almost, well, it is imperceptible to the human eye. It is, in fact, off. There's a very, very brief time when this is off, and this turns on ever so slightly behind it, but it's imperceptible to the human eye. Okay? So this is one technique. I'm going to pause it, and which I didn't show you in class, by the way, so this is new. And I'm going to pause it and just show a blended color example, and I think we're done with this, okay? And then we can move on. So give me one moment. Okay, so for this last quick demo, and again, I think you guys know this, but it's just worthy of putting it down on video. I have it doing all the 7 primary colors: red, green, blue, cyan, yellow, magenta, and white. And the way I'm doing it, and it's on for a period of time, half a second, 500 milliseconds. And literally all I want to show you, I think you know how to do the primaries easy enough, and I think you know how to do this too. But if I want to blend 2 colors, it's nothing more than calling them in quick succession. Because again, you can't perceive the time difference between turning this on and turning this on. It's essentially simultaneous, so far as your eyes are able to perceive anyway. And then magenta, of course, we're going to turn on the red and the blue. And the yellow, we're going to turn on the red and the green. And white is going to be all 3 of them on. Okay? So they're on ever so slightly after each other, but it's imperceptible. So when it's all done, you get this nice, arrangement of different colors. So I think that's it. I'm done with this this portion. Next one is going to be on using the buzzer. And I will see you guys again really soon.